Hey everybody, thanks for watching. The following is brought to you by Alma Explores. Make sure to follow at Alma Explores on Instagram and also check out our website, Alma Explores, where you can check out my story on how I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro last year and also check out some upcoming trips. We already have one sold out trip to Morelia, Michoacan next year for the butterfly migration and a few other trips. We're just trying to encourage more women of color, skinny women, thick women, all kinds of women to get out there and explore the world. It's a big place and you can't just watch from your couch. And now here is our series Conversation Starters. Hello everyone. Welcome to our second episode of Conversation Starters in honor of Latinx Heritage Month. Today we are super excited to welcome someone who was actually introduced to me by a mutual friend, and I instantly became a fan of her music and her style, and I'm super happy that she's now living in LA. So hailing from Brooklyn, New York, Afro-Latina singer, songwriter, and rapper, and also visual artist. This woman does it all. Like I said, she's originally from Brooklyn. She's also a graduate of Wesleyan University, and now she is in Los Angeles. Welcome, Latashs.
Hi guys.
Hey. So, like I said, I understand that you are from Flatbush. I actually lived in Flatbush for about a year over on Parkside.
Really?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
one of my favorite spots. So, just tell us a little bit about you, your background. Obviously, growing up in Brooklyn, I
Hmm.
know that your father is Panamanian and Jamaican, and your mother's
Hmm.
Puerto Rican and Haitian. So, just
Hmm.
introduce yourself. Tell us a little about just a little bit about your background, growing up in Brooklyn, where you're from, all that good
Oh,
stuff.
of course. What's up, guys? I'm Latasha. I am from Brooklyn, New York, like you know. I'm Flatbush, Brooklyn. I actually lived in almost all types of parts of New York. So I like lived in Brooklyn a lot, but I also lived in the city for a little bit and just moved around a lot. I grew up with a dance hall queen mom, but she's like Puerto Rican and Haitian, but she used to be in the Jamaican scenes a lot and she used to dance a lot. And my dad is all over the place. And I fell in love with music being super young, I want to say, but found myself becoming like cousins to hip hop when I got like a little older. And I would sneak in my room and listen to hip hop by myself and just like find myself wanting to tell more stories through it. And went to Wesleyan and really found myself just being a hip hop artist out of nowhere. It was kind of an accident. I used to do poetry and then started doing ciphers. And then before I knew it, I was like opening for Kanye and Big Sean and all these crazy people and just kept going. And here I am just living my vision, I guess, or living whatever God wants me to live.
Wow, no, that's great. Really cool stuff. And it's also just interesting that you are like this woman who went to Wesleyan, who also raps, sings. I also read somewhere that you do that you've done graphic art, you've been doing graphic design work for
Yeah.
some brands.
Hmm.
So how do you manage to just keep everything together and do everything, get organized? Because I mean, it sounds like you're very hands on.
Yeah. I'm an all around creative. I love
Mm-hmm.
creativity. I love making things. The other day I was like, I'm about to get a sewing kit and just start sewing because I just want to make stuff. Um, my love, of course, started with writing and making music. But if I could just pick up something and make it, why not try? So I always just try and create things. And then graphic design became another part of it because I see my music before I write it. Like I see music mostly. So I just was like, why don't I just draw the visuals into graphics and then make the music out of it? So that's how it kind of started. And it helped me pay the bills while I was like starting the indie life. So that's where it all started, my graphic work. I also like to write like plays and I do like we're doing movies. Me and my boyfriend are starting to do movies, and it's just like all around creativity is just what I do.
That's awesome. So actually, I'm gonna take it back sort of to the first question. Having
Sure.
grown up like in, like I said, in a background with such diverse and rich cultures, did you ever feel like you had like a pull more towards like the Latino side, or to the African American side, or
Hmm.
Caribbean? Did you ever feel that pull, or did you ever get people in your community or your friends saying, uh, no, you're not black, or no, you're not Latina, or that feeling that like
Hmm.
you're not enough of either culture, and how did you deal with it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at home was where everybody was Latina or, in
Mm,
that mix, right? And that's where I was speaking Spanish mostly. But then when I would go to school, no one would think I was Latina. Everybody would just think I was African American or Caribbean. And a lot of people think I'm Dominican. And
mm,
so I'm always like explaining. I try not to anymore now that I'm
right.
an adult. I try not to explain who I am anymore. But yeah, I've always kind of had to like show that these sides of me. And it's really funny when I rap in Spanish, people are like, oh, wow, I didn't even know that was what her life is. And now, now I just like let people think what they want to think. And when it's time to show it off, I'll just pull out the card and be like, what's good, you
There
know?
you go. There you go. Well, so I was gonna ask you, how do you identify yourself, but maybe you don't want to be in the box. Identify, that's not something that you do. I don't know. Is that Do you identify yourself a certain way, or
I identify myself as a Caribbean
okay?
Latina for sure, and Black, of course. That's
Right.
all day. But yeah, I don't go out of my way to identify myself anymore. I just want people to see me and see me for who I am for the
Right.
most part, and then as they get to know me more, they learn the other traits.
Right. So, I mean, I
Yeah.
guess what does identity mean to yourself, or how do you identify, like, just the meaning of identity?
Identity is what I make it at this point. I feel or what you decide to make it.
Right.
I feel like I don't want to be in a box anymore or be confined to just like a culture or a language or a country or anything. I feel like we're moving into a world where you kind of have to see more expansion out of yourself. So identity is whatever I make it and whatever you make it. And that's how I see it now.
Right. So, I also read somewhere that you are a big Celia Cruz fan. Did you
Yeah.
watch the series on Netflix? First of all, it's like 8 episodes.
I haven't started the series yet
Uh,
because I've been so busy. But yeah, my grandmother
mhm.
believes she's like this, like Celia Cruz's cousin and aunt. So I grew up
Ah,
just loving Celia Cruz. I really, for me though, what got me with Celia Cruz was her outfits.
oh yeah. Her mom made a
Her
lot of those outfits. You have to watch this series.
really?
Yeah, her mom. I think her
Yeah.
mom made the majority of her outfits.
Her look was amazing
Hmm.
and just she's just incredible, of course, but her look was where it sold me because I was always like, oh my God, I would love to wear something like that on stage and just be just big as she is. And yeah, she's just amazing. I'm just in love with her.
And so, I mean, speaking of singers, who are like the female singers, rappers that you look up to, maybe from the past, or also
Hmm.
current, and how do these rappers inspire you? I mean, it can be women, male,
Yeah,
female.
I'm inspired by so much.
Mm,
I grew up listening to like La India
mm,
and like Ana Gabriel and like all of those women because of my mom. But on the other side, I was listening to like Shaba and
right.
Lady Saul and like Elephant Man. And then in my corner by myself, I was listening to like a lot of Little Kim,
Mm,
Biggie, Lauren Hill, Queen Latifah, and I kind of just mixed it all up and made my own thing. As I got older, I really got influenced by like MIA, Kendrick Lamar, um, Jay-Z, of course, and Beyonce, of course, is like the staple of everybody's influence, I think. But now I'm just so influenced by just everything going on in my life and just what's around me. So influence is life. That's it.
So what do you miss most about Brooklyn, and what do you like about living in Los Angeles now?
Oh my
Besides beef patties, that's what I miss the most, and real Jamaican
God!
food.
Well, there's a beef patty spot that we found out here that's really good, actually.
Okay, you'll
It's
have to put me
in
on to that.
downtown. So that already is covered. I do miss oxtail like
Mm.
so much. I miss
Yeah, I have
Jamaican
to put you
food
on to
so
an oxtail
much.
spot up here in Ladera Heights.
Yes, please, because I need it. I miss oxtail. I will say I miss I live in a kind of remote area of LA. I live in Frogtown,
I know
which
where that
is
is. We had some of our friends just moved there.
oh, really? Okay, cool. Yeah, so it's kind of rough because it's remote. So I kind of miss like going out and seeing the culture of things, like it being right outside my door. Like that's what New York used to give me. Like I would go outside and I saw art like right in front of me. So now what I do love here though is that nature is all around me and I never had that before. Like New York, of course, there's like trees, but that's all you got. Like you don't have
Right.
any like mountains outside your
Yeah,
window
you have
and
to go to
stuff.
the
So
botanical garden or Central Park.
exactly, exactly. So I'm just happy to have some mountains and some nature around me here, and it's more expansive here. There's more space, and I just that's what I think I love about LA. I just needed the space.
So I also read somewhere that obviously the Empire Roller Rink was a big part of your life. So for
Yes.
those of out there watching who may not be familiar with the famous Empire Roller Rink in Brooklyn, can you paint a picture for us? Maybe take us back to the legendary roller rink and what it was like to be there, and the people and how it inspired you. Because I definitely can tell that, like, in your videos with the colors and the movement,
Hmm.
that's still a big part of who you are.
Yeah. Well, it's like I grew up going to that skating rink every Saturday, or Friday, actually, Friday. Um, Friday nights was teen night, and that was like the only night my mother would let me go out because I was I was like secluded in the crib all the time. So we would go to teen night, and there'd be a long line of teenagers trying to get into this party on Empire Boulevard, which is like right across the street from like Botanical Garden in Brooklyn, and we would get our dressed up in our flyest clothes from the weekend, something we bought from Jimmy Jazz or something
Yeah.
like that.
Downtown Brooklyn.
Downtown Brooklyn with our new Jordans, and then we would get into the skating rink. I didn't know how to skate, to be honest, but everybody else did. But Empire was like more than just a skating rink. It was like the first club that you would like a first teen club that you would hear like music that you really wanted to hear or new songs. You'd learn the new dance hall dance move that you needed to know, and people
The
would get into little
butterfly.
groups. The but you would get into groups and do like the online or the log on, and you would just all dance together. Um, and then the night would get crazy and everybody would party. Then the party would be over. And then outside was always a fight or some sort of wild thing happened. The popo was always outside. And then you just go home and you would wait for the next Friday to do it again. And that was kind of our thing. And sadly, they shut down the
Yeah.
skating rink with gentrification in
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn. And now it's a storage unit. And every time I pass it, my heart just if I miss certain parts of me, with that. And I wish I could like take my kids there one day or something, but that's what gentrification is doing to like our neighborhoods. We're
Right. I mean,
losing out
it's
on our history.
happening everywhere. I mean, it's happening in our neighborhood here in Inglewood, all over Los
Yeah.
Angeles. It's something that is going on. But I did
Hmm.
want to ask you. I know you're an independent artist. I mean, as an independent artist, what's the biggest challenge that you are facing aside from, we know it's always challenging with, the money, the financial side, but what other
Hmm.
challenges do you have as an independent artist? What are like the pros and the cons? And also, I was curious, have you been approached by a major label? And if you have, why you wouldn't go that way? Just
Hmm.
maybe talk a little bit about just your experience as an indie artist.
Well, the pros of being an indie artist is that you have ultimate control, right? Like it's all you. You decide what time you want to wake up, what time you want to go to sleep, what you're gonna do, who you're gonna meet, who you connect with, what you're gonna create. And I love having that sense of freedom. So that's why I've been pushing to stay indie for so long because I need freedom. I need to be able to express myself however I want to express myself. The cons can be like self-doubt. You do deal with like comparison issues and like wanting to compare yourself to the other artists that are out. You do deal with like having not a lot of team members. You usually are doing a lot by yourself
Right.
often. And then you got to battle like social media and the algorithms and things like that.
Hmm.
And you put a lot of effort into your work, and sometimes it doesn't like show up immediately, all your payoff. So the other con is like it takes time. But the root of it, I just love ownership. I love the idea of owning what I create, or being able to choose who I want to share with and who I want to give to and, share my music with. That's what my heart is for with being an indie artist. I think I have been approached by a few major labels in the past, and I my biggest concern was that their focus was so much on how many numbers do I have on Instagram or how many people are following me on Twitter and things of that nature. And I was just like, it's not about the quality.
Right.
And I need to know that my quality is more important than anything else. And, since then I've just been pushing independent, but we'll see. We'll see what God has in store for me. So
No,
we'll
well,
we'll
I
keep it
mean,
going.
your quality is definitely, it shows. I mean, your
Thank
production
you.
level is top notch. I mean, I've
Thank
seen all your
you.
videos and I see what you're doing, and it definitely looks like. I mean, I don't know how much the cost of your videos are,
Hmm.
but I know that you're making those videos look like they're $1 billion videos.
Oh, thank you.
I
That
know
makes me
that,
so happy.
and
That makes me.
I know that recently also my husband and I were watching that new series Woke on Hulu, and we're like, "Is that Latasha?" And I think it was you, right? So now you have some new
Yeah.
music placement in Woke. I also
Yeah.
know that you had some placement also in the Madam C.J. Walker story that was
Hmm.
on Netflix. And then
Yep.
just like 2 days ago, one of the singers from the Pussycat Dolls, Nicole, I can never pronounce her last name,
Last name me neither.
Scherzinger or something, was literally laying in an ice bath listening to one of your songs. So now that more people are being exposed to it, how does that feel? Like and are you doing anything specifically like to get those placements? Like what's that process like?
Well, I work with a sync house called
Mm.
Sugaroo, and they help me get songs placed in places. So if you're an independent artist, look into sync houses because that can totally help you get your songs into placements. But as for the Nicole situation, I had no idea that was happening. One day she just started following me, and I was like, "Whoa!" And from there she just posted the song, and I was like, whoa. And so it was pretty amazing to see people respond to it, how people are responding to the music. This game is a very complex emotional roller coaster, and so like days you have super crazy lows and you're like, why am I doing this? I should quit, I'm over it. And then other days you're like, man, I'm just so in love with what I'm doing, and you have these peak moments, like things like that happen, and so I'm just grateful that people are responding to the music. It's going places, and this is all I ever wanted. I want to see the masses while being myself. And so this is it,
Right.
This is in the works.
Tell us a little bit about your project at Lightwork and how fans can support.
Yeah, Lightwork is my new baby. It's membership platform where I'll be sharing my journey and my process, but more of the inner work and the spiritual work of being an artist and the mental work as well. I'm big on mental health for independent artists. I think that's like the most crucial part of being a creative is having a good foundation on your mental health. So Lightwork is going to be a world where I give like tools on how to like just peak your mental health so that when you're creating, you're like at a great steady foundation. And so we'll have meditations, we have workshops, we have like I'm going to be posting up like my stories and like things that I've been doing. And it's just my inspirational world. I just want to inspire people to create. And I really, really believe that the more we create in this world, the better the world will be. So that's what Lightworks for.
Well,
And if you want to support, I have an awesome GoFundMe that's going on. We're almost there. I'm so happy.
yay.
It's a go. I've been calling it the Go Go Fund, and it's super close. We only have like 4K to like make now, and it's insane. So many people donated and supported. So
And
I'm
we'll
just so
we'll make
grateful.
sure that we have a link to it at at the end
Yay!
of the conversation, so that
Thank you
anybody who's
so
watching can
much.
come out and support. And
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, like, what's the best piece of advice that somebody's ever given you that you've actually taken and used in your where you are right to get you to where you are right now? And
I
what
have
can you give
two.
others as well? Like, what can you tell other people that want to go down the same line?
I have two. The first one is don't believe anybody could drive. And I took that, I learned that from driving school, but I took that on to my life.
Mm.
Like, don't believe anybody could drive. Just do the best you can. And like, know that nobody really knows what they're doing. Everybody's just trying things and working through it. So there's no need for comparison or any of that. The other piece of advice I have is believe in your lane. Like there's so much going for you in the path that you're walking in, even though you don't know like what that path looks like. It could be super dark, it could be super daunting, and you could be creating things that you're like, what is this? But that's the seed that's going to start something for you that you never knew. There's so many times in my career that I wish that I didn't like delete something or didn't like I kept something alive, and now I look back and I'm like, man, everybody's doing that now. And I was
Right.
doing that back then. So I will always tell people believe in the things that they create because you never know when it's going to be that thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
those are my words.
I mean, I know that
Hmm.
people say I'm not into politics, but we're all into politics. Like whether you
We,
think you're into them or you're not,
hmm.
we're a part of the machine. So why do you think it's important for the youth to stay involved? And I mean, everybody, not just the youth. But I know that I
Yeah.
see you involved in a lot of those social justice causes.
Well, I'm a black woman in America, so I gotta be involved in what's going on because I mean, we see what this world is doing to women of color and the IPOC people all over the world, right? So politics is just innate at this point. And so I do what I can to speak on the parts that I feel are important to me and the people around me. And I think I did this census project with We Are Uprisers,
Hmm.
which is like a great collective of like youth politics and activists, but they also do like music and other kinds of cultural things. And the census came about because we wanted a cool way to talk about how to sign the census and get people to sign it because often that the census could look really daunting to like millennials and also culture like being Caribbean and Latino, and we all feel like, oh, we don't want like the government to know all of our information and all that kind of stuff. And I have like an immigrant father, and I'm worried like if they know my information, what they're going to do to my dad with ICE and all that kind of stuff. So I just was like, it's time to do this. And The census was fun. It was a fun little project that we did. I performed for them and talked some facts about it. And I found out some things that I didn't even know, like the census can't share your like immigrant status with anybody, or like they can't like check up on like where you live and things like they can't share things with the government that is like not supposed to be shared. And that was really dope. I also did something with headcount recently on just getting everybody to vote, because we need as many people as possible to vote right now. With the world we're in, I'm not gonna say what I want, but I want something to change, you know. So, so it's really important right now for everybody to go ahead and be a part of changing this government, because that's what's gonna really change our world. And we're in a big shift right now in all kinds of aspects. So I'm just here for it.
Well, before we leave, we know you have to run.
No problem.
Anything you want to share with our audience? Any new projects that you
I
have?
have a really dope new workshop coming out called Codes of Desire, which is going to be about like tapping into like what you want and how you manifest it. That's coming out in November, but you could sign up now on lightwork.club. I also have some cool little projects coming around for Christmas in some new merch. So go ahead and cop that and go and listen to Go Go Wine and Who I
Yes.
Am, play those over and over and over and run them up. And that's really it. I'm just so grateful to be here with you, Alma. Thank you so much
No,
for
thank
having me.
you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. And shout out to Xiaoping out there, who's the one that connected us. So hopefully, when all this is
love
over,
shopping.
we can get together and meet up. But
Yes,
thank you so much.
no
Keep up the
problem.
great work, and we just want to
Thank you.
remind everybody out there to don't forget, if you are eligible to vote, vote November
Go do
3rd. Vote,
that.
vote, vote.
Yes,
And
yes.
that's it. Thank
Alrighty.
you. Bye.
Thank you. Take care, guys. Bye.